The movie starts with a girl named Sophia, a shark researcher. She and her team are in the Pacific Ocean, tracking a shark named Lilith. They have been monitoring Lilith for a long time and still wonder when she will appear on their radar again. They plan to take a sample from her for research. Suddenly, the radar picks up signals, showing that Lilith might be getting closer. Without wasting time, 4 team members, including Sophia's husband, dive into the ocean to find her. While searching, they come across a massive baby whale. Even though it is young, its size is enormous. The most shocking part is that the baby whale is dead. Half of its body is missing. Now, they wonder who could have killed it. That's when the killer appears right in front of them. It is none other than Lilith. Seeing her, they freeze in fear. Just 2 months ago, when they last examined Lilith, she was only 2.5 meters long. But now, she is almost 7 meters. This means she has grown nearly 3 times her size in just 2 months, which is unbelievable. The smartest thing to do at that moment would be to put their safety first. But Sophia's husband makes a terrible mistake. Even though he sees the danger right in front of him, he is determined to take a sample from Lilith. So he stabs the shark's body to collect it. But the moment he does this, everything goes wrong. Lilith goes into a frenzy and attacks the team. She tears them apart one by one. Blood fills the ocean as their bodies are shredded into pieces. Sophia and her friend, watching from the boat, are horrified. Even though she is terrified, when everything calms down, Sophia jumps into the water, hoping to find someone still alive. But there is nothing left, only the torn remains of her team, floating in the blood-filled ocean. Then, Lilith appears in front of Sophia. The shark is no less than a monster now. She lunges at Sophia, grabbing her and dragging her down into the ocean. But somehow, Sophia manages to escape with her life. The scene shifts, and 3 years pass. Sophia has completely stopped researching sharks. Now, she works as an aquarium guide, teaching kids about fish. The children love listening to her stories. One day, a young marine activist named Mika enters the picture. She is passionate about protecting the ocean and runs an organization called Saviors of the Sea, dedicated to saving marine life. She believes she must protect every creature in the ocean. Mika meets Sophia and takes her to her headquarters. She shows Sophia shocking news. Lilith, the very same shark Sophia once researched, is heading toward the Seine River in Paris. If Lilith enters the river, it could be dangerous. Mika wants Sophia's help in studying the shark, but Sophia remains calm. She explains that it's normal for sharks to move from one place to another due to weather changes. However, it is unusual for a shark to travel from the Pacific Ocean to a river. More importantly, no shark can survive in fresh water for long. So, she believes Lilith will turn back before reaching Paris. But there is another reason Sophia refuses to help. Her tragic past still haunts her, making it impossible for her to track sharks again. After giving her reasons, she walks away. Meanwhile, near the Seine River, 2 young boys find something unusual: 2 small missiles lying in the water. Soon, the police arrive, collect the missiles, and assure everyone that there is nothing to fear. They explain that after World War II, old weapons, including missiles and shells, are sometimes found in the river. That night, Mika and her friend secretly visit the Seine River to investigate a car accident. But Mika has another reason. She wants to confirm if Lilith has entered the river. Her friend dives into the water and soon spots markings on the riverbed, marks that could only belong to a giant shark's fins. But before they can investigate further, the police arrive. It is illegal to investigate the river like this, so they try to arrest them. Mika is caught, but her friend manages to escape. Meanwhile, Sophia finally decides to check the tracking data. To her shock, she realizes that Lilith has entered the Seine River. The next morning, the police retrieve the body of a man who died in last night's car accident. But the sight of the corpse terrifies everyone. Half of his body is missing. The wounds make it clear that a large animal attacked him. Sophia and Mika stand with the officers near the river. Sophia doesn't hesitate. She tells them that Lilith is responsible and they must stop her before more people die. But Mika misunderstands. She assumes that stopping Lilith means killing her. As a marine activist, she cannot let that happen. She believes Sophia and the officers plan to kill the shark, so she secretly starts working to protect Lilith instead. The next day, Sophia and the officers arrive at the Seine River with a plan to capture the shark. Sophia helps them track Lilith's movements. Everything seems to be going smoothly, and they are moments away from locating her. But then, Mika makes a huge mistake. With the help of her hacker friend, she disrupts Sophia's tracking signals. Now, the officers can no longer track the shark. This puts the team that entered the river in great danger. But instead of attacking them, Lilith changed her path. This gives the officers a chance to escape safely. However, this leads to an even bigger problem. The monster shark is now freely roaming in the Seine River, right in the middle of the city. The officers rush to inform the mayor. When the mayor hears about it, she becomes extremely worried. She insists that they must stop the shark at any cost. A major event is set to take place on the Seine River in just a few days, and cancelling it is not an option for her. With time running out, the officers start planning ways to stop Lilith. Meanwhile, Mika secretly records a video and sends it to several marine activists. In the video, she claims that the government is planning to kill Lilith and other sharks like her. She calls on activists to take a stand and protect marine life, even if it means putting themselves at risk of shark attacks. She then urges them to meet at the catacombs of Paris that night. The catacombs are underground tunnels that stretch beneath the entire city of Paris. Once Mika gathers her group, she reveals her plan to them. But before she can put it into action, one of her friends secretly informs the police. The officers soon discover that Lilith is inside the catacombs. That night, Mika and the marine activists arrive at the underground tunnels, but Sophia and the officers also show up, having learned about Mika's plan. A heated argument breaks out between the two groups. Then, in an attempt to prove that sharks are not dangerous to humans, Mika jumps into the river inside the catacombs. Moments later, a shark appears, but it is not Lilith. Suddenly, more sharks emerge from the darkness. The situation turns into a nightmare. The sharks prove Mika wrong in the worst way possible. Instead of peacefully swimming around her, they attack her viciously. Mika is torn apart as the sharks rip her body into pieces. Seeing this horrifying scene, the marine activists panic and try to escape. Their so-called mission to protect marine life is completely shattered. They finally understand the harsh reality. Not every creature can be saved. Some must be stopped before they cause destruction. As chaos unfolds, many activists fall into the water, becoming food for the sharks. The river turns red with blood as the predators tear into their victims. The situation is barely brought under control, and only a few survivors manage to escape. During this time, one of the sharks is killed. When Sophia examines its body, she makes a shocking discovery. It is a 2-month-old female, and even more surprising, it is pregnant. The shark was carrying multiple baby sharks inside its body, meaning it was giving birth at an extremely young age. This is dangerous because their numbers could grow rapidly in a short time. Even worse, these sharks have inherited an ability from Lilith. They can survive in fresh water. Sophia and the officers realize the terrifying truth. There could be thousands of sharks living in the catacombs. To stop them, they come up with a drastic plan, detonating explosives inside the catacombs to wipe them out. The next day, the long-awaited swimming event arrives. Hundreds of people are set to swim in the river at the same time. But the public remains unaware of the lurking danger, the presence of sharks. The mayor refuses to cancel the event for her benefit. To minimize risks, trained officers and Marines are secretly placed in the water to monitor the situation. A huge net is also set up on one side of the river to trap any incoming sharks. Meanwhile, Sophia and a senior officer enter the catacombs. Their mission is to plant and detonate the explosives at the main location. Once inside, they find themselves in complete darkness. As the senior officer turns on his flashlight, a horrifying sight unfolds. Thousands of young sharks surround them. Despite their small size, they are massive and strong enough to tear anyone apart. With the bombs already set in place, the officer is about to trigger the explosion, but before he can do so, a shark attacks him. Despite being badly injured, he manages to detonate the bomb. Some of the young sharks are killed in the explosion, and the officer is quickly pulled out to safety. When Sophia returns to the river, she spots Lilith. The giant shark floats near the catacombs entrance, staring at the remains of her children. Seeing their torn bodies, she is overcome with rage. Without hesitation, Lilith smashes through the net barrier and heads straight toward the swimming event. The race has already started, and dozens of swimmers are in the water. Then, in an instant, Lilith strikes. She bites a man in half, causing panic to erupt among the crowd. Moments later, more sharks appear. These sharks were not in the catacombs when the explosion happened, so they survived. Now, their numbers are overwhelming. The sharks launch a full-scale attack on the swimmers. Within seconds, the river turns red with blood. Body parts scatter everywhere as people are devoured alive. Then, a terrible mistake is made. One of the officers, in an attempt to shoot a shark, accidentally fires his sniper bullet at a missile lying in the river. These missiles were left over from World War II. They had never been defused and were still active. The moment the bullet hits, the missile explodes. This triggers a chain reaction. One after another, the old war missiles begin exploding violently. The scene turns into a tsunami of destruction. Massive waves flood the city, sweeping away entire areas of Paris. Buildings collapse, bridges are destroyed, and chaos engulfs the streets. Sophia and the senior officer, barely holding on to safety, watch the disaster unfold. Corpses float everywhere. Sharks swim freely through the flooded ruins of the city. News soon spreads. The sharks are not just in Paris anymore. The tsunami carried them into other regions and possibly even other countries. The horrifying possibility becomes clear. These monstrous sharks could spread across the entire globe. If that happens, humanity itself will be at risk. With that chilling realization, the story comes to a tragic and unsettling end.